I know a lot of you have been to all of our mayor webinars, and I appreciate that you keep coming back. I know we're all interested in what's going on in each city. And for those of you who have returned constantly, you're probably tired of hearing about the House rules, but I do have to go through them just so people understand that everyone except Gina and myself, the mayor, are going to be muted. And if you have a question, there's a chat link down below. Just write it down and we will relay it to the mayor. So let me get started. I'm going to read a little bit of the bio of Gina Nestande, mayor of Palm Desert, because it's a very full bio. So I had to do a little hair cleaning on it. Gina was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. After graduating from the University of Missouri with a BS in education, Gina moved to California in 1989 to pursue her dream of becoming a professional triathlete. Can you believe it?
I thought I left that part out.
Oh no! This is amazing about you. Her hard work paid off, and within a few years, Gina was traveling the world, competing in Ironman triathlons and other endurance events while working as a substitute teacher, eventually entering the MBA program at the University of San Diego. In 1996, Gina moved to Palm Desert, where she balanced being a homemaker and raising 5 children with volunteering at Sacred Heart Parish and school. In 2006, Gina met former state assemblyman Brian Nestande, and as single parents who shared interests in politics and community service, they had a lot in common. They married and made a life together with a combined family of 7 children. In 2016, Gina decided to run for city council as she wanted to play a role in the future of Palm Desert for its current citizens, as well as the next generation. Gina was recently sworn in as mayor on December 12th, 2019. As the last of Gina's children graduated from Sacred Heart School, she joined one of the top producing real estate teams in the Coachella Valley, and she's a member of CDAR. As a local real estate broker and mother of 5 children, Gina realizes the importance of having a well-run city that preserves the quality of life, property values, and need for economic development that will bring good jobs for our youth. Thank you for joining us, Mayor Nestande. It's our pleasure to welcome you. I'm going to ask a few questions, and then I'll take it from the floor and ask you questions that people have chatted in. First, can you please give us an overview of the current shelter-in-place guidelines for Palm Desert?
Well, the current shelter-in-place guidelines for Palm Desert really follow county direction. We cannot make our own rules of what can be open and what cannot be open. We can make them more strict than what the county proposes. And at this time, we are not doing that. Whatever the county allows us to do to stay open, that's what we're doing. And fortunately, we were working really hard for the last 3 weeks or so to get the golf courses reopened. And that was able to happen because the county public health officer, Dr. Kaiser, confirmed with the state offices that it was still allowed, that golf could still be allowed. And our county, for whatever reason, had made it more strict than the state order. So what I've been doing and others, we're looking at the state orders to make sure what the county is doing isn't more strict than the state orders. I hope that makes sense. So we were able to get golf open, which lended itself to other outdoor sports such as hiking, pickleball, tennis, and of course, they all have to follow the social distancing practices.
Good. And are there any restrictions on what real estate agents are allowed to do when they're working in the city?
Well, Well, thank goodness, as we all recall, was it at least a week or 10 days where we were non-essential workers? And with great effort, the governor reversed it. So we're all just so thankful. I know I am too, that we're allowed to go back to work. And as realtors, first and foremost, we have to practice social distancing. We need to wear face coverings. And we have the PED form that everybody should get signed. Anybody entering a home needs to sign the PED form, and also to get the seller to sign off on it as well, because we're entering the seller's home. So we have to follow those guidelines. Open houses are not allowed. Virtual tours are the next best thing to open houses.
Has anything changed as far as Palm Desert's short-term rental guidelines? I know you had districts that allowed short-term rentals. Has the time limit changed? Has it gone from a week or 3 days or 10 days to something else?
No, our timeline, well, let me just backtrack. The short-term rental is basically defined as 28 days or shorter. And that timeline, that time period has not changed. We haven't made it 60 days. So that is still in place. However, having said that, Palm Desert has a ban on short-term rentals in its R1 and R2 zones, and that will always stay in effect. What's changed is all the areas not in R1 and R2 that were allowed to have short-term rentals, they now are not allowed under our county orders. The state did not order that, though. So that's one area where I am hopeful we can get that changed. So where short-term rentals are allowed, please allow those to reopen. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yes. So what happened is the governor said that all hotels could only service essential workers. So if you were just wanting to go on a vacation, you can't check in at the JW Marriott. You have to be an essential worker. So what the county did, they took that standard and applied it to short-term rentals. So that is one area that perhaps we can undo.
And then as far as the hotel industry being really hard hit, has the city done anything to assist the hotels, or do they have to open up to the National Guard perhaps, or any COVID-19 related?
Okay, so in terms of the hotels, like the JW Marriott, for example, they're going to have to apply for SBA loans, government assistance programs. That's where we're directing our large hotels, the Marriotts. And like the JW Marriott is closed until June the 6th. And I'm not quite sure what funding they're applying for, but I know that they have applied for funding. Palm Desert, though, we are trying to help our small business owners. I'm speaking for myself right now because this has to go before the entire city council, but we have a $2 million fund that was originally purposed for helping small business owners with facade enhancement, or if you wanted to open up a restaurant, we might give you $25,000 to put in a grease trap, things like that. So we have $2 million already budgeted for small businesses. However, it's not intended to help out businesses that are suffering under COVID-19. So I am working with staff, and we're hoping to get something put together to present to City Council so we can discuss it and see which direction our council wants to take on those funds.
Has any of the small businesses come to the city for assistance?
Yes.
Getting information about the small business loans or otherwise? Have they actually come to you?
Well, I get several emails a day. And so now I have a letter all ready to go with our city's website and the exact link to where you click on to get the loan information And then also we have a wonderful economic staff that is taking personal phone calls. So I include that phone number as well. So people are getting the help. Well, they're getting the answers they need, and I hope they're getting the help they need with the SBA loan program.
Great. Tell us what is going on with the city as far as development, and has construction slowed down, or has there been any restrictions on construction or contractors?
Well, you have a couple of questions in there. I'll start off by saying we are still working hard on our Envision San Pablo project. So if you drive down Fred Waring or Highway 111 and come to San Pablo and look down the street, you'll see a lot of action. And we're creating a new downtown area. Instead of San Pablo just being a street you drive through as quickly as possible, we want that to be a street where you're going to stop and want to visit. The intent was to have your mom and pop restaurant there, your coffee shops, and other boutique type shopping that tied into El Paseo. And being optimistic, I hope a year from now that's what we'll see there, despite the COVID-19. So construction is still going on projects already started. We are having a budget study session tomorrow afternoon for about 4 hours, and we're going to go over all the other projects that we had slated to move forward with, and we do need to reevaluate now because of budget shortfalls. Oh, and I wanted to add, you have one other part. Construction services are considered essential, and so there's no restriction on construction.
Okay. So are there any housing developments going on or other commercial developments besides San Pablo?
If you go to the north sphere of Palm Desert over by Gerald Ford Drive and that north area, trying to think of the cross street, like Gerald Ford and Cook Street, Gerald Ford and Portola. We have a couple of housing projects that we're still working on with the developers. And so we'll know in the next 3 or 4 months what the status is on those homes. Or I should say those projects.
Those projects, yes. Has the council discussed the city budget and how it may be affected by the stay-in-place orders?
Yes, we have. And again, we're having a meeting tomorrow to go over the actual numbers, but we are projecting at least a $5 million loss in transient occupancy tax, also known as TOT, about $5 million. And like JW Marriott is closed until June 6th, so there's no TOT coming from that hotel, which is one of our biggest sources of TOT. And then there's a handful of hotels still open, not many. And so we're projecting a $5 million shortfall in TOT. Then there's sales tax. The governor has allowed all businesses to defer paying sales tax. Some businesses, though, thankfully, have already paid some of their sales tax. So we're not quite sure what that loss could be. It could be as low as $3 million or as high as $8 million. So if you add those figures, the 3 to the 8 to the 5, we're looking at maybe, worst case, a $13 million shortfall. But there's some good news. The city of Palm Desert is very well run, and we have $100 million in reserves. We can't touch all of that money, but we do have $12 million earmarked for emergencies. And there's a few other funds we can touch upon, but we really don't want to deplete that whole fund because you never know what other emergencies might crop up. I mean, just a month ago, we had an earthquake. Fortunately, it wasn't that bad, but we can't deplete all of the 12 million. So we're meeting tomorrow to look at our budget to see where we can cut and fill that shortfall.
So I would think that Palm Desert, along with many other cities in the Valley are dependent on the large events like the tennis and the Coachella and Stagecoach. What do you think, what is your prediction on whether or not the concerts at least can come back in October?
Well, I haven't talked personally with the mayor of Indio. I heard him on TV. All the mayors were on TV last week, and he is very confident that the music festivals will go on in October. And I am hopeful as well. And I'm just looking forward to getting our economy reopened as soon as possible, one small business at a time. If so, anyway, that's my hope, is the concerts will go on.
It sure would help in any shortfalls that the cities are going to suffer through.
It would help all the cities out so much if it would happen in October.
Mm-hmm.
Would make a big difference.
What are the city's current COVID-19 numbers as far as cases?
Okay, the city of Palm Desert, we have about 47 cases, and we've been holding steady with only 5 deaths for the last few weeks. So that's great news. And I would just say overall, in California, a population of 40 million people, there's been about 1,700 COVID deaths. And keep in mind, about 700 people die every day in California, whether it's heart disease, cancer, car accidents. So when you put these numbers in perspective, California is doing an amazing job, and those dire projections just aren't happening. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know why we're not like in New York, but we're not at all. Hotspot seems to be New York and New Jersey, and we're doing a great job here in California.
We are. I have a question from Tish Herwig from an office on San Pablo. She
Sure.
asks, will there be new ordinances in the city for restaurants to maintain customer distancing?
We are waiting to see what the county is going to do, and we're also collaborating with the county. I'm having a conference call tomorrow with Supervisor Perez and some other county officials, and I will be asking him questions just like this. And by the way, if anybody in our audience has questions they would like me to ask in tomorrow's meeting, please let me know through, I guess, you, Robin. How would they go about doing that?
Yes, through our chat link.
Okay, so if anybody has questions, you can try to ask me right now and I'll answer them, but if I can't, I will ask on my conference call tomorrow.
Being that Tish, who just asked that last question, is on San Pablo, I'm curious as to what the time frame will be for completion of the street.
Okay, so that portion, it's a little behind schedule. It was supposed to be done May 1st, dare I say, which is Saturday. I think it's going to be about another month, but I need to confirm with our Public Works Department. And then, so that's half the street. And then San Pablo continues north of Fred Waring, correct? You know where I'm talking about? So if you take San Pablo and head north, going across Fred Waring, dead end at Magnesia Falls,
right.
We also wanted to start breaking ground on it this summer. But tomorrow, during the budget talks, that's on the table to see if we're going to move forward. And the reason being that I think it hopefully pass is that we've got about $5 million in funds that we don't have to pay for. That it's just money. If we don't use it, somebody else is going to get it. So that we can complete the street.
Are plans to remove the tamarisk trees north of?
I believe that's part of the plan.
Oh, okay.
So if you have an opinion, email City Hall. If you have an opinion on the trees, but I believe that's part of the plan, is to remove the tamarisk trees, put something else in this place.
All right, I have a question from Dawn Summers. What can the city of Palm Desert do to increase testing of residents and staff of our assisted living and senior housing? Also testing of our first responders.
Well, I will say that the Indio Fairgrounds has opened up testing, and I'll give you the phone number. It's an 800 number, and you can make an appointment and get tested there. You stay in your car, so you don't get out of your car. And in terms of if you're in a nursing home and can't get out, your doctor can order you a COVID test. We have plenty of testing material. In fact, our county is leading in the state for the number of people being tested. Our county supervisor, Perez, is doing a great job with that. We have all the tests needed for those that are showing symptoms or want to get tested. And then you can also call your local doctor as well, and they can schedule a test for you. But if you just want to go on your own, Indio Fairgrounds, there's an 800 number, and I'll give it to you at the end of the program. If you want to, do you want to put it on the chat box, Robin?
I can. We will put it on our website.
Okay, you put it on your website. Okay.
Yes. Following up on that same subject, is the city going to be doing contact tracing?
The city itself is not. This will be led by the county, and that's something we are going to be discussing tomorrow as well.
Okay. Being that there are no more questions, if you could please just wrap up in your own thoughts and desires how you want to see us progress in the next several months.
Well, to recap, I love our city, I love our country, and it just breaks my heart that we've basically shut down a $22 trillion economy in a matter of 6 weeks. And our jobless numbers, they are even lower now than 2008 recession. So our economy and our people are all, so many people are hurting. And I like to say all lives matter. I'm not talking about money or greed. I care about all lives. And the sooner we can start reopening our economy, the better it's going to be for everybody. And again, it needs to be done in a safe way. I think social distancing is going to be around for a while. And while there's no vaccine for the COVID-19, I believe we're learning how to live with it and how to beat it in terms of being able to go on with our lives and our businesses. So I'm very optimistic, and I believe in human ingenuity, and we're all going to get through this.
Thank you so much, Mayor Nestande. I really appreciate you participating with us. And I know all the realtors that participate in these town halls are appreciative of all your leadership.
Well, thank you for having me, Robin. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And just jot down the number and we will put it on the website.
Okay.
Just on chat. Can you see the chat button down below?
Okay. So you can tell I'm still a newbie on Zoom. Okay. So there's chat.
Yes.
Okay. Now I need to put my glasses on.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to type in the number. Just give me one moment. I've got it right here.
That's fine. We have a lot of thank yous to you personally.
Oh, okay. So I have time. 800. 945-6171. Okay, that's the phone number for the Indio. Oh, I hit enter. There we go.
There it is. Great. We will post that on our website, and we have lots of thank yous from people that are participating today.
Oh, well, it means a lot to me, and thank you everybody for your support, and please reach out with any questions you have. Robin knows how to get a hold of me. My email for the city is gnestande at cityofpalmdesert.org. And also, I'll just add, if you go to our city website, that same address I just gave you, at the top of each page is a red banner, and it says, click here for the latest COVID updates. We have all the information you need from the county and the state, and getting small business loans, and on and on and on. So again, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Bye now.
Okay, goodbye.